I'm actually kind of nervous for this video. I've never done anything like this, so this could be like a complete fail. But I guess that's what life's all about, isn't it? So today I am going to be attempting to write a feature-length screenplay in just one day. And by a day I mean 12 hours. So it's currently midday and this needs to be finished by midnight. And by feature length, I'm talking about, well, I would class a feature length as like 90 minutes, an hour and a half, depending on who you ask or where you look. The length of the official length of a feature is going to be different, but I think the like most common answer is like 80 minutes minimum. So we're gonna aim for something 80 minutes plus. I'm not gonna try and be too ambitious, I'm not gonna lie, because that's just asking for trouble. I haven't actually written a feature-length screenplay in a really long time, and like thinking about it now is honestly strange, but I write a lot of like episodic dramas, which are about 45 minutes to an hour long, so not quite a feature. And also when you write episodic dramas, it's a different format, it's like a different structure than obviously writing one feature. So I think I'm probably a little bit rusty. We're gonna give it a shot anyway. I'm literally starting from scratch. Like, well, I say I'm starting from scratch. I have an idea simmering. Like, I feel like as writers, like we always have ideas like simmering. Do you know what I mean? Like whether that's like a character, a scene, an opening image, like we always have something going on up there. So therefore I've picked one of those simmering ideas and I'm like, right, I'm gonna develop that. So maybe that's cheating, I don't know. I don't know why I'm acting as if I'm following the rules that someone else has created. This is literally my own video, I can make up the rules, but yeah, I wouldn't class it as cheating because this idea isn't developed or fully formed or anything like that. So I'm just taking this idea that I've had and I'm going to develop it for the purposes of this video and try and write it into a feature-length film. Sounds ridiculous, but we're going to do it. I'm not going to go into loads and loads of detail about the idea just because I feel like that would take up most of the video, when I want to show the process of writing more so than the idea itself kind of transforming. If it actually transforms, who knows? Who knows what could happen? Just so you guys kind of know what I'm working with currently is that it's set during the war, World War II. I love writing war stories, and I also saw The King's Man last night, and I loved it, and that's set during World War One, and it just made me want to write this idea even more. So we're going to go with this idea. It's set during World War II. I mean, it's about messenger boys, so I'd never heard of this, and I've done a lot of research on the war. It's like a period that I find really interesting, and I love, as I say, I love writing stories about it, therefore you've got to do, obviously, the research. And I never knew that there was like this volunteer job that a lot of young lads took up because they couldn't join the army, and they basically would deliver telegrams. They'd cycle around London or Birmingham or wherever, like a big city, and they would deliver telegrams, which a lot of the time were the telegrams telling people that their sons, husbands, fathers were dead, had died in war. And I just remember reading that thinking, oh my god, imagine having that job. Like, imagine like you walking up someone's driveway with a bicycle and a telegram. Imagine like the fear that you would give that person. Like, that's insane. And I just feel like it's a really interesting thing, and I want to like explore that more. And yeah, so that's literally all I have so far. When I was at university, a tip that my screenwriting teacher gave me for writing short films is, if you're trying to write something that, say, it's like 15 minutes long, and you want to get a whole story in there, you want to get the whole 3-act structure, you want to get an arc, everything, it sounds like a lot, a lot that you have to do in such a small amount of time. So a tip that he gave me was pick 1 to 2 characters, pick 1 location and pick 1 time frame, so like an hour, a day, whatever, and basically work within that. And it just helps narrow down so much that you've got a small amount of stuff to work with, and therefore it's easier to get the arcs, the 3-act structure, the beginning, middle and end in when you're not working with so many other things going on, like so many different characters, so many different locations, so many different time jumps. So I'm going to try and keep that in mind as I'm developing this idea, and I'm going to try and keep, you know, I'm not going to write it that's throughout the whole war, like I'm not going to span it from 39 to 45 because like that's ridiculous. So I'm going to try and keep it more concise. I'm going to keep the characters down to a minimum because I think that might help me generate the idea quicker, so I'm able then to write it quicker, if that makes sense, so we can get this done by midnight. But yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my notebook and I'm going to just brainstorm ideas. I'm going to try and develop the idea that I have so far. I'm going to do a bit more research on the Messenger Boys. The last war story I wrote, which was a 45-minute short film, which I'm currently turning into like a novella, that was completely inspired by my grandfather and his experiences during the war. So he was an evacuee. So I feel like sometimes reading real life accounts of that time can really help generate ideas. So I'm going to do some more research on Messenger Boys. I'm going to do lots of brainstorming, lots of development, and then I'll check back in with you when, I think probably when I've moved on to characters. Yeah, I feel like that's like the next step after the initial development. So yeah, let's do this. So I'm just writing out like a really basic rough plot, like I'm trying to like just whatever's coming to my mind, I'm just writing it down, just so I find it easier that once I've got some sort of outline, no matter how rough and how shit it is, then I find it easier to develop and like tweak it, change it, develop it, you know, etc, and actually create the proper plot, if that makes sense. So I'm just doing that at the moment. Okay, so I have got this basic outline up until the kind of break into two section. So I'm gonna try my best to follow the Blake Snyder beat sheet, which I will talk about when we're doing the structure, like the acts. I'll show you sort of what structure I'm going to try and follow. But in terms of those beats, the beat of like break into two, so like after the catalyst, after the like debate of like should I, shouldn't I, there's then the break into two, which is where the main character, you know, in this case goes and it's like, okay, I'm going to do this, and embarks on this journey. So I've got to that point of like a basic outline and I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's a good start. I've got like an idea of the main character, and I think it's just mainly going to focus on the main character and his dad. I think they're the two characters I'm going to focus on, but as I say, we're going to do some more character stuff in a bit. I have an idea of like a basic beginning, middle and end. Like I think I know how it's going to end. The middle bit is the bit that I'm most worried about because I feel like it could sag a bit, but we're not going to think about that right now because we're still on the first act. I'm going to do some more research on Messenger Boys just to see what, you know, if that can help generate any ideas, and then yeah, after that I think we're going to move on to characters. So what time is it? Okay, it's like 1 o'clock, so we've had an hour. This is so scary. doing some research and I found this really amazing like account from a man who was they were also known as Telegram Boys. He was a Telegram boy during the war, and he's describing like exactly what he used to wear, exactly like how he'd arrive for them in the morning for his shift, and like they would all get inspected, like just some really amazing details. So I can't wait to use this. Like, this is gold dust. So I have done some character development. I've done like what I normally do when I'm coming up with characters. I don't do anything special. I literally just do a mind map. I do it every time I'm brainstorming a character, and so I've done that for Jack, and I've called them Jack. I call the young boy Jack. He's the main character, and then I've called the dad David. I don't know if he'll remain being called David, but it's like the first name that came to mind, and I really struggle to develop characters when they don't have a name yet. So I've just given him the name David. I always change my characters' names as I'm writing and as I like discover them more. So his name might change, but currently he's called David. And then I've just done goals, conflict, motivation, which are three of the most like important things that character needs to obviously have to function in a story. I'm going to move on to actually plotting it and putting it into the different acts. So I'm going to do the post-it method, because structure is very important. I think sometimes people forget about structure and forget that actually films do follow formulas, and therefore they do follow structure, and you need to kind of have those structure beats for it to function. Like every film on this planet follows some sort of structure, and the ones that don't, well, they're the ones that don't do particularly well. But anyway, so I'm gonna get on with that, and I might get some food though, because it's like 10 to 3 and I haven't really eaten properly yet. But anyway, it's going well. So what I'm trying to follow in doing this is I'm going to show you out of this book, Save the Cat, which is by Blake Snyder, who's a screenwriter. And it's, I'm sure if you're a screenwriter and you're watching this, you've heard of this book, and if you haven't, you need to read it. It's called Save the Cat, the last book on screenwriting that you'll ever need. It just has some amazing tips on screenwriting, and it goes really into detail about something that the writer calls a beat sheet, which basically gives you all the different, put it up here, it gives you all the different beats that you need to hit in your film from beginning to end. So it has all the beats in Act 1, all the beats in Act 2, and all the beats in Act 3. So the beats in Act 1 are the opening image, the theme stated, the setup, the catalyst, the debate, and the break into 2. So that's what I've already plotted out in my notebook, roughly. And I'm now trying to come up with scenes that are gonna fit into those different beats, and I'm gonna make sure that I hit them all, and then I'll move on to Act 2. And I'm doing that with post-it notes. So these are some that I've already done. I've just been writing them on my bed whilst I'm eating my soup. And I've stuck them here, and I'm gonna just put them on the wall with Act 1, which you can't see because it's so high up, but it's up there. I'm going to stick them on there with that one. I'm going to carry on with Act 1, and then I think I'll tune back in when I've completed Act 1, if I complete it, and give a close-up of sort of what I'm doing, and then I'll move on to the other acts. It's not as impressive as I thought it was going to be. As you can see, Act 2 is looking very skinny, and that's because I have no idea what to do with Act 2. Act 1's fine, Act 1's all sorted, so basically I've got the scenes on individual post-its, and then I've got the beats that I need to hit on the blue post-its. So for example, so this is covering the opening image beat, this is covering the theme beat, this is covering the catalyst beat. Oh my god. When we get to Act 2, the B story is difficult because the B story is like where you might have like a romance plot, basically subplot, which there is subplot, but it's not, doesn't necessarily come in Act 2, it comes in up here, so I don't really know what to do with that. I'm kind of just leaving it there for now. Fun and games is tricky. Don't really know what's gonna happen here. This is why I said that I'm worried about it sagging a bit, because I'm not too sure what's gonna fill in these gaps yet. Midpoint's fine, I've got that sorted. All is Lost is also fine, and the Dark Night of the Soul is also all sorted. So I've got the beats, it's just what goes in the middle of them, but I have no idea what it's going to be. So that's embarrassing. And then Act 3 is all fine. That's all kind of sorted out. I've got the beats. And yeah, that's all fine. So it is literally Act 2, which is worrying me slightly, but I'm not going to spend any more time on it because I don't have the time. It's 5:05, so I'm gonna basically start writing now, and then at about 6 I'm gonna start cooking dinner, and I'm gonna write while I'm cooking dinner, and then I'm just gonna literally write for the rest of the evening and try and get this done by midnight. So I had 12 hours to begin with. I'm now down to 7 hours, and I'm only just starting to actually write the script. So maybe I took a bit too much time on the planning. I don't know. Maybe I would have been better if I had just pantsered it and just... But then I reckon all the structure would have been messed up, so I literally don't know. But I'm starting to think that maybe this was a bad idea. This was a mistake. I think I was just a bit ambitious. So it's currently 11 p.m. and I've written just over a quarter of the script, I would say. I'm coming to like the last few scenes of Act 1. And I've obviously realised that there's no way I'm going to be writing another 3/4 of my script in an hour. That is impossible. So I've decided, instead of just being like, yeah, that's it, failed, let's give up, let's, you know, I'm going to tweak the rules slightly. But I'm not breaking the rule of doing it in a day, because a day is technically 24 hours. And at the start of the challenge I was like, oh, I'm going to be doing this for 12 hours. But I've changed my mind. I'm going to be doing it with 24, and I'm going to continue writing now. I'm going to go to bed, I'm going to sleep, and then I'm going to wake up and however many hours I have left of those 24 hours, so till midday. So if I get up tomorrow at like 7 or 8, then I'll have like some more hours tomorrow. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I'm not gonna finish it. I'm not gonna be writing the whole thing. It's just not gonna be possible. But I'm gonna give it a jolly good go. Okay, so I'm really tired. I feel a bit sick, to be honest. I think I ate too much food. And I find that staring at my computer for too long makes me feel really unwell, so I'm hoping it's just that. I'm gonna get some sleep, and I'm gonna wake up in the morning, and I'm gonna write as much as I possibly can before midday. Good night. So it's the next morning and it is currently 12 o'clock or 12:01. I don't know if you can see that, but that means that my time is up. My 24 hours is over. Spoiler alert, I didn't finish it. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, no, I got to Act 3 though. I just hit Act 3, so I think that's pretty good going. So this is what the wall looks like. So I just move, every time I did a scene, I just move it to here. So that's Act 1, that's Act 2, this is Act 3, so as you can see I got 2 scenes in. Still got those ones left. I am feeling very foggy in the head because I've been staring at a computer screen for like 24 hours straight. So I'm going to take a shower and then I'm going to do like a proper debrief on the whole situation and the whole experience and what I learn and whether I think it's worth doing. Yeah, so I will be back once I don't look like a greasy rat. Okay, so I've showered and I've sorted myself out and I'm feeling a lot fresher. And yeah, I just wanted to quickly debrief on like the whole situation, the whole challenge. So I actually really enjoyed myself. As much as there were times when I was like, was this a good idea? I actually did enjoy myself. It was just like a real burst of like creativity, which is really nice, especially like with like working and stuff. It's nice to kind of, because sometimes you have periods where you're not feeling so creative and you're just kind of focused on work, but then at the same time you're like craving to be creative, if that makes any sense. So it was really nice to kind of have that burst of creativity, especially now I've got like a long week at work ahead of me, so that was really nice. I didn't succeed. I didn't write a whole script in a day. I honestly think if I had the idea ready to go, I had all the like post-it planning ready, and I was literally just writing it, like the first draft beginning to end, rough draft, I think I'd be able to do it in 24 hours. I genuinely do, because I can be a really fast writer if I know exactly what I'm doing. I can be a really fast writer if I know exactly what I'm doing. But I think the planning and the developing obviously took a massive chunk of the 24 hours, so therefore didn't leave me that much time to actually write it. So that's a shame, but I will say that even though this was technically like a fail, I actually feel like in a sense it was also successful, because I now have this idea that sort of wasn't really much of an idea before I did this challenge, that I feel like I can really work on and finish the first draft and then like edit and develop and change. There's already things I want to change about it, but I try to not change things as I'm doing the first draft. And yeah, like I feel like without doing this challenge, without forcing myself to kind of do it all in 24 hours, I might never have come back to this idea. Just because sometimes that happens, doesn't it? We have like little ideas and then we're like, oh no, I can't be bothered. And then we just kind of forget about them, which is a shame. I wish I could like develop and write all my ideas, but I would need to literally do nothing else but write for that. So yeah, I think in a sense it was a success because I now have a new script idea that I can definitely work on, and I already want to turn it into a novella as well. So yeah, I think all in all this was actually a good thing to do, and I think if maybe you're struggling with writer's block or you're just not feeling as motivated as you usually are to write, but you have an idea in your head, give yourself like a 24-hour challenge, because even if you don't succeed, even if you don't write whatever you've challenged yourself to write in that time period, I think it can really help like shake the your imagination and like wake up certain ideas, and I think that's really awesome. So yeah, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm hoping to do some more videos on screenwriting in the future, as that's what my gosh, it's what I've done way longer than I've been writing books. I studied it at university. At college, like it used to be my life. My like whole life was just writing screenplays. So I definitely want to revisit it more, as I definitely don't do it as much as I used to. And yeah, so look out for some more script writing videos, obviously if you're interested in that kind of stuff. And I will see you all very soon.